Two people can read the same Bible, pray to the same God, believe the same truth, but still walk away with two different realities. And if you want to understand more, let's talk about it. In this video, we're going to be talking about my human interaction model that I have been talking about over the last couple of days if you've been around. Now, let's go through the model. Person A, person B. Every person has a reality that they live within. This dotted line shows capacity, and we know that capacity is not static. It is seasonal and state dependent, which means it can fluctuate based on your energy, stress, life load, where you are, which is your domain, so that you can have high capacity for work, low capacity for relationships, and vice versa. It's also time sensitive, so you can access it today or not today and access it next month, and vice versa. So the greater the distance here shows how quickly or how accessible one is to obtaining truth or objective reality is what we call this, or biblical truth. It all depends on the environment. Now, person B has a greater capacity. Remember, capacity can change. It fluctuates. And person B has a smaller reality. A smaller capacity, Now, distance is shorter. The greater capacity, the shorter the distance to get to there. Why? Because capacity requires emotional capacity, cognitive flexibility, self-awareness, self-regulation, humility, and willingness to update, okay? Reality consists of our experiences, perception, trauma, bias, and beliefs. Now, you're probably wondering, as a Christian, what does this have to do with me? Well, it has to do a lot with us because let's talk about it. This framework gives us the opportunity to explore systems, identity, religion, culture, leadership, family, internet discourse, power, shame, perception, relationships, romance, attachment styles. But first, we're going to go into reality. What is reality? Reality is how the nervous system, the identity, environment, meaning making, which is what we all do as human beings, and social reinforcement organize what happens to us and puts it in a worldview. So a person does not interact with the objective reality, which is what we call truth on that last slide, that initial slide. That would be truth. They interact with what they experienced, how they interpreted it, what protected them, what was rewarded, what was punished, what was repeated, and what they normalize. That combination alone becomes their reality. That's their experience. So when we're engaging with people, we're engaging with all of this. So two people can encounter the same exact event and leave with completely different truth. And this is the foundation of the human interaction model. Now, what shapes that reality? There are 10 layers. Every human being, doesn't matter if you are a believer or not, this is what shapes your reality, your experiences, the raw events alone. So it's not just the experiences alone, it's the interpretation that we give to the experience. So two children can grow up in a poor home. One develops gratitude and resilience. The other develops scarcity and hypervigilance. That's an example. Same circumstance, different internal meaning. Number two, this is where reality starts to form. So remember, it's the interpretation that we give to the experiences. Number three, emotional imprinting. Some experiences become emotionally charged. The stronger the emotional charge, the greater the imprint. All right. Number four, trauma, big T and small t, because not all trauma is catastrophic. Number five, biases, right? We all have biases. They are mental shortcuts. They're not bad. They are shortcuts that help humans process complexity in a quick time. However, they can distort reality. So there are different biases like confirmation bias, negativity bias, projection, availability bias, right? We all have them. Number six, belief systems. Belief, including our religion, organizes reality into a coherent framework. But I want to pause right here because a lot of times what we don't know is we can have faith and belief in God, which is our theology, and our faith is what puts that theology into action. But if our theology is skewed, then we're not going to have proper faith. Now, if our theology, no, not if, but our theology actually is, based on our perception. So it's based on what we experience in this whole worldview, right? This is why we can read the two people can read the text and walk away with two different interpretations, two different responses to the text, because they are filtering it through their perception. They're filtering it through their reality. All right, so let's keep going. Number 7, social reinforcement. Reality becomes stabilized through groups. Humans, we're naturally social creatures, and if a community rewards a belief, it strengthens. Same thing is the opposite. If a community offers discipline for a certain belief, you get it weakens, right? So it's just conditioning. So number 8, identity. Eventually, the beliefs and interpretation fuse into identity. So now you have formed yourself in this worldview that you live in. Number 9, the nervous system. We've been talking about that a lot. The nervous system is the reality is physiological. So a dysregulated nervous system is going to perceive differently than a regulated one. A person who is experiencing severe threat or a regular threat even is going to perceive the world differently than someone who does not see a perceived threat, who is regulated. The final point is number 10, environment and information exposure. Reality is shaped by geography, socioeconomic status, internet, algorithms, education, race, class, gender experiences, media consumption, historical context, right? Some people that you are surrounded by, because perception develops inside of environments. This is all encompassing what the interaction model is talking about. So inside of this person is all of that we just discussed. Inside of this person is all of that we just discussed. So when we are relating to one another, we're relating with all of that information. So when there's tension, when there's conflict, when there's disagreement, misunderstanding, we're looking at it as this with all that information. And then on top of that, capacity. You can have a similar reality, but if a person doesn't have capacity, if the capacity is mismatched, it's going to be more difficult to get here. Because I've got to have all of this in order to get to this. This person may get there quicker. This person may not. This may not get there at all, okay? So we have to keep that in mind when we're talking about human interaction and not trying to spiritualize everything. Some things are simply experience, and how those experiences, we've applied meaning to them and navigated life with them and accumulated experiences in addition to that. So I'm going to continue this as a series. You'll be able to download this document as well from my website. I will let you know when it is live, as I am still navigating getting that uploaded. God bless.